Alright, it's time for a little video of my Viper ACR. This is a 2009. When I bought this car originally, it was solid green, snakeskin green. They made three 2009 solid green ACRs. This was one of the three. Before I even received the car, I had many changes made to it. I bought it through Woodhouse. I took off the black ACR wheels. I didn't like the looks of them. I liked the chrome 5/6 spokes better. I took off the Pilot Sport Cup tires, which are great tires for setting records around racetracks, but not so great for driving on the road, especially if there's 3 drops of rain or it's below 60 degrees. They're not very compatible with that. We also changed out the suspension, and I'll show you a little bit more about that in a minute. Motons and Eibach suspension, and put different headers on it, different exhaust. She upgraded the ECU, and then probably most expensively, I put this paint scheme on the car. The car was, as I said, solid green, and well, let me show you something here. When the ACR first came out, shortly after it came out, Dodge introduced this car, the ACR X, and it was a racetrack car, not for the street, and they had this paint scheme where it was a white car with black hood and a black rear deck lid and a white roof, and then reverse dual stripes from top to bottom, and then reversing around the wing, and I thought it was a cool paint scheme, and so we decided to paint this car the same way. As far as I know, it's the only one in the world that's painted like this. And you can see, this is one of my favorite parts, how they did this. They've got the green wing with the black and white dual stripes on top, and then reversing on bottom with black and green stripes. My painter, who did all this work, is a guy in Nebraska who works with Woodhouse Motorsports, and he quoted me $8,000 to do the paint job on this car. Again, keep in mind, before I ever even saw it, the car had 5 miles on it, and he's tearing it completely apart. Front fascia, hood, rear hatch. You'll see in some of the pictures all the parts taken off the car, the rear bumper cover, the wing, the stanchions that hold the wing up. He quoted me $8,000 to do the paint job, and when he was done, he called me to tell me that he was not going to charge me more than he had told me, but that he wanted me to know he had over 100 hours more in the paint job than what he had budgeted. And he did a fabulous job. The stripes on the car are smooth. He painted everything, obviously again, everything was green, so what's new in terms of color is all the black and all the white. And then of course he clear coated all of it, and it's smooth, so you can't even feel where the stripes are, unlike a factory car where you very much can tell. This car's dynoed a little over 600 at the rear wheels with the mods we've made to it, so probably close to 700. All the wheels are perfect. There's no curbing on any of them. In fact, one of them was curbed at one point in time, and I had it repaired, and I wasn't satisfied with the repair, so I took the wheel off. It's actually now sitting in a box right there, and I bought a brand new wheel because I didn't want my wheel to be damaged at all. This car has been very well taken care of. It has just a hair under 8,000 miles. I've driven Vipers for years, so I know how to drive them. I know how to not scrape this front end, which is a real challenge, I'll tell you that. This car has, you have to look for a while to find a scrape underneath the front end of that car, and that's very rare on Vipers. You'll also notice that I added that lower canard or dive plane, depending on what you want to call it, is factory on the ACRs. The upper one is not. The upper one is a clone off of the ACRX, because again, in keeping with the paint scheme, I wanted the car to look like the ACRX, except green and black. I also replaced the wing ends. I liked the 2010 wing ends better than the 2009, so that's what those are. They're 2010s, a little bit cooler looking. Okay, let's see. The front end of this car is covered in plastic. I put Clear-Bra on all my cars not long after I get them. This one I actually had to let sit for 3 months before I could drive it because it had been newly painted with this paint scheme that we added, and I didn't want to drive it until I had it Clear-Bra, and I couldn't Clear-Bra it until the paint cured. And so it literally sat in my garage for 3 months while the paint cured with 5 miles on the car. And then once it cured long enough, we put plastic on the front end and then started driving it. So I don't think you'll see any imperfections in this video, but to the extent that you do, it's in the plastic. Plastic's also on that entire side sill all the way up to where the hood, where that quarter panel meets right there on that seam. So plastic's all the way up to there, all the way down the side sills on both sides, behind the rear tires, on the side mirrors, basically everywhere, where the rocks are most likely to hit a vehicle like this. This car also has a laser jammer on it. It's Laser Interceptor, which is the best laser interceptor system on the market. You can do the research online, but it is. You can see the laser interceptor head right there. And there's another one on the other side right there, and then there's 2 on the back, which I'll show you in a minute. Works great. It's about a $1,500 ad by the time you buy the hardware and have it installed. Okay, let's open up the hood here, show you what we did under the hood. Again, the whole car was solid green, so that means the underside of this hood was green. It was painted black because that was the ACRX paint scheme, but I wanted to add a little something extra, so I sent a vinyl sticker to my painter, and I told him to put that sticker on the green, shoot the hood black, and then peel the sticker off when he was done painting the black, and then to clear coat over the top of it. So when you run your finger along that, you feel nothing. It's under the clear, and that's the original green that was on the car from the factory. We also took off the valve covers. All Vipers, for those of you who know, have red valve covers. Every one of them from the factory, from 1992, as far as I know, until 2015. I don't think any have been made without red valve covers. It's kind of a Viper tradition, I guess. And they're fine, but they didn't really work on this green car once we got it painted. And so we pulled the valve covers off, bead blasted them smooth, and because they're also sort of that coarse aluminum, and then painted them green, the snakeskin green, to match the outside of the car. And we also pulled that intake manifold off and polished it and sealed it. There you can see the Motons that we added when we changed out the suspension. The Moton canisters, they're adjustable right there on that little orange knob on the end of the canister. Lots of little extras on this car. Little chrome cover on the V10 8.4 liter, just a little chrome overlay. Lots of things like that, down to the finest details like valve stem covers with a little Viper head. The side strakes on the side, they were black plastic from the factory, and you can get these chrome overlays, which I put on there. They make it look nice, especially with chrome wheels. And likewise, on the back, there are these diffuser blades. The car's not as clean as I'd like it to be right now, but you get the idea. There are also chrome overlays on both sides of what is otherwise just a black plastic diffuser blade. And those diffuser blades are designed kind of like the rudder on a boat to keep the car going straight when it's, especially at higher speeds. That little cord that's sticking out right there is for the battery tender that I have connected to this car, because it sits sometimes for even months at a time, and I have it sitting on a carpet pads so the tires don't flat spot as easily, and I have it plugged into a battery tender to preserve the battery, which has been great because I've never had any issues at all with the battery. Here's the back end, and you can see my expert installation of my laser jammer hidden right there and right there. Almost looks like it came from the factory. My buddy who did this has done lots and lots of Vipers, and he's very good at it. So that's what there is to tell about the outside of the car. Let's see, let's pop this trunk. The Vipers, at least in 2009, were not focused on audio, so to the extent that you wanted to have a little more sound in the car, you had to add it yourself. This is an Alpine subwoofer system. I think it's either 6 7-inch subs or 7 6-inch subs, I can't remember, inside that box. And this little plywood carpet covered retaining ring, I guess maybe you'd call it, fits very nicely in there. It fits right over this latch. This pulls out, and then you can literally unplug that subwoofer if you don't want it in the car. You want to get rid of the weight, you don't like it, you need to haul luggage, whatever you want. It's super easy to do. You just literally lift out that carpet covered retaining ring and unplug the speaker, pull it out of the car. No problem. Down underneath there is also the motons that, right there actually, for the back shocks that are adjustable as well. Okay, let's look up front for a second. Most of what's done in the interior of this car is aesthetic, just to dress it up a little bit. Little chrome overlays around the speakers. I think I have aftermarket speakers in here, a little better quality than what Dodge put in it in 2009. I've got, as you can see, Viper carbon fiber side sill covers. My carpets are a little bit dirty, but those are $400 floor mats that are embroidered. They're nice mats. And then we also added some carbon fiber pieces inside for the console and the dash, chrome rings on the knob, short throw shifter from MGW, etc., etc. Chrome overlays right there. Just little things here and there. Anyway, the car has, as you can see right there, 7,938 miles. I've had this car almost 5 years. So what does that translate to? About 1,500 miles a year? Something like that. Oh, by the way, I also added this. I think those were called RB1. They're not the greatest head units by any means, but they're a factory head unit, which it was better than the one that came in the ACR at the time. It has nav, which the factory head unit didn't, believe it or not. But it didn't. What you see on the outside of the car in terms of all the stickers, that's exactly what they are. They're vinyl stickers. So to the extent that you don't like the stickers, they can come off very easily. A little more work to put them on, but they all peel off. Everything except the stripes. That dual driver stripe, that's painted, as I talked about earlier. Everything else is stickers that we put on for a race event for one of the VOIs a couple of years ago, and I never took them off. I was thinking about taking them off, and I thought, you know, some people will like those, and other people might not. And for those who do, they can leave them on, and if you don't, you can pull them off. Okay, we're going to get a little bit of the sound of this car. If I can figure out what I did with the keys. Oh, thank you. All right. Aftermarket exhaust sounds pretty good, right? Anyway, that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call. Numbers are in the ad. You can email me, give me a call. There'll be pictures as well, but I thought this video would be helpful. I can't remember if I added those rotors or not, now that I think about it. Those might be aftermarket. I don't know. They're Stop Tech. I don't remember if Stop Tech came on the ACRs or if that's something I added. If that's what came with it, then they're factory. If not, then I added them. Too many Vipers, too many mods. Kind of lose track after a while. Anyway, this is a one of a kind, pretty special car as ACRs go.